Alright, what's up strugglers? Welcome to my trade recap number 2. So for this trade, I actually took it on Tuesday, but since it was a swing trade, it ended on Thursday. And so yeah, let's get to it. So for this trade, I was looking at CADJPY because on Tuesday we had CPI for CAD, and we also had a lot of news for CADs and GPY. And so I'm looking for this pair because we could be having a lot of volatility during the week. And so yeah, I started on the monthly time frame, and from the monthly time frame I could see that we had a fair value gap right here. And so from this fair value gap we could go lower. And going down a time frame on the weekly, we can see that when we went to the monthly bearish fair value gap, we consolidated a bit, but then we started to go lower and we created this fair value gap right here. And from this fair value gap, I really wanted to go lower, but we actually went higher and formed a bullish one right here on the weekly time frame, right? And so this is a little bit tricky, but we actually respected this bullish fair value gap and took out its high right there, and we swept it. And at that moment in time, this weekly candle was not formed yet. I had this price action right there, and so my target was basically these lows to potentially start respecting this fair value gap after we swept the bullish one. And so yeah, I was targeting this low right there, and going to a lower time frame, this is, so it was actually, yes, this is the price action that we had. No, this one right there. This candle was not formed yet, so I was actually looking at this right here, and we had a bullish fair value gap right there. That was actually Friday, and so I was looking at the charts. At that time it was Monday. So yeah, so basically we had this price action when I was looking at it on, I think, Monday night. And so yes, like I said, my target was the weekly lows right there, relative weekly lows. And so my thought process was that this is an extra confuse for me. I don't really look that often into market structure shifts because I only look at fair value gaps, but it was an extra confidence. We were breaking all these lows, so it was a signal for me that we could potentially go lower. And so yeah, I basically took an entry from this fair value gap, covering this high right here and these lows. And so I really liked how this high could have been protected, because if we would have went to this fair value gap and went lower from there, so basically if we did something like this and then went lower like that, this high could have been an intermediate term high. And that means that an intermediate term high is basically a swing high that has a swing high to the left and a swing high to the right. And so that's what I wanted to happen. And if it would have happened, that high could have been protected if we go with market structure, and we could have went lower. However, price just consolidated. We respected that fair value gap, but we then just went straight higher, and it took me out after like 2 days, I think, and it stopped me out. And it actually did go a little bit lower, but it just continues to consolidate. I did not expect for price to consolidate like that, but yeah, concerning this trade, I'm honestly really happy about it. Even though I lost, I still think it was a good trade. But my mistake was that I did not look at the other pairs against the dollar yen, the yen, sorry. So if we look, for example, at JPY instead of CADJPY, we could see that on the daily time frame, we were actually disrespecting this fair value gap right there. At that moment of time, this candle was formed before I was entering. We disrespected this daily fair value gap, and that's actually a sign that we can go higher from it. And also all the other pairs against the yen, we were starting to go higher. Actually, Euro JPY was respecting, I think, a weekly fair value gap here. If we go, for example, on CADJPY, AUDJPY, we're going higher right there. So by looking at right here, we're disrespecting this bullish small for buy gap. So these are all signs for me that actually price was not ready to go lower on CADJPY, because one of my main things when I trade the crosses is that I need to correlate it with all the other pairs. And so even though it looked really good to go short from here with CADJPY, all the other pairs against the yen were actually starting to go higher. So yeah, I think that was my main mistake. And besides that, also on the daily time frame, we actually respected this bearish for buy gap, and then we can see that, let me take these out, we actually swept this low right here and we're starting to go higher. Well, that's actually after I took the trade, so I couldn't have predicted that, but this sweep right here was actually maybe a sign with all the other pairs that I just listed that we were starting to go higher. And yeah, that was my main mistake. But besides that, I'm happy about the trade. I did not disrespect my plan. I risked 1% for a day. So we just go on from there and go on to the next one. So thank you guys for watching this trade recap.